I am Kim Crane, certified holistic nutritionist, and wanted to share a little story that I had honestly meant to share a couple months ago. And if you were on yesterday's live, the last couple of months just have been a little overwhelming, to say the least. Anyway, came across this picture the other day when I was looking through some different things, and remembered that I had never shared, kind of the journey that we had been on. So I have, combined this with a blog post, so you can either watch it live here or you can go and read the blog post after I'm done. Anyway, this image never ceases to amaze me. You see, this image is of my husband's chest cavity, and the image you are seeing is his diagnosis of stage 3 squamous cell carcinoma, lung cancer of the lower right lobe. This type of cancer falls under the category of non-small cell cancer. And as a dear friend who also happens to be a nurse in a cancer facility recently told me, this type of cancer is a virtual death sentence. Her statement during, we were talking on the phone here a couple of weeks ago, and I was sharing some information with her. And her statement during this discussion was also backed up by a friend of mine who is also a doctor, as well as my husband's oncologist. So I kind of want to go back to the beginning. In February 2015, my husband took a nasty fall from our home. I was too scared to help him, not knowing the extent of the damage that may have been done, and EMS was called. Being the man that he is, he chose not to go to the hospital, saying that he was fine. The following morning, he was experiencing great pain in his neck and was having difficulty walking and using his hands and arms. After a trip to urgent care where a CT scan and other diagnostic tests were performed, he was sent home with a neck brace and told to follow up with an orthopedic surgeon if he was not feeling any better within a couple of days. We did the follow-up with an orthopedic a few days later. An MRI was done, and my husband was told that it would just take time. By the end of April, and this was all in 2015, he was still finding no relief, so we scheduled an appointment, a follow-up appointment with the surgeon, and surgery was finally scheduled. However, I had this really uneasy feeling just in the pit of my stomach that just something did not seem right. And I chose to seek a second opinion from someone that I knew and trusted with everything that I had. I was advised to seek the advice of a neurosurgeon, as my trusted second opinion explained that an orthopedic may actually do more harm than good with this type of neck injury. Long story short, my husband did see the neurosurgeon. Surgery was scheduled for later that week, and he was sent downstairs for the pre-op screening. Unbeknownst to me, he had only eaten an apple fritter that day, and he had failed his pre-op blood glucose screening miserably. Surgery would have to be canceled if his primary doctor would not approve the surgery. So off to the primary physician we go. Fortunately, we were able to get into my husband's primary care physician the very next morning. Due to a very healthy dinner, my husband's blood glucose levels had improved. They weren't great, but the alarming number from earlier the week was no longer a concern. His doctor decided that my husband needed a chest x-ray because it had been several years since his last one. And this is where the brakes came to a screeching halt. The x-ray showed a mass in the lower lobe of his right lung, the size of a tennis ball. The neck surgery was canceled. This was followed by a flood of appointments, blood work, CT scans, MRI of the brain. Did you know that when lung cancer metastasizes, it generally finds its way to the brain first? At that point in time in my life, I had no idea. There was an oncologist, a cardiologist, a PET scan, biopsies, so many appointments that it was overwhelming and hard to keep up with it all. So let the research begin. I was terrified. My husband wasn't saying much, and I knew he was just as scared as I was. I had a choice. I could sit back, cry, worry, wring my hands, and spend many sleepless nights watching TV, or I could research everything I could get my hands on. I chose the latter, specifically researching the ingredients and the products that we were already taking, natural healing, and our diet. A year prior to this, we had begun changing our lifestyle with a line of supplements, a healthier diet, less alcohol, more exercise, and we were both really beginning to feel better because of these lifestyle changes we were making. And while we will never know how long the cancer had been growing inside my husband's lung, I had noticed that he was no longer coughing or complaining about the pain in that area of his back near the tumor site. As I would discover through my research, our diet, our lifestyle would play a huge role in whether he would survive such a diagnosis. So drastic diagnoses require that you make drastic changes in your life. It was during one of our first meetings with my husband's oncologist that my husband asked, what can I eat? Men, they want to know what can they eat first. His oncologist replied, you can eat whatever you would like. My brain literally could not catch up with my mouth fast enough. I'm like, oh, the hell he can. And started spouting off, what we were already doing as far as a healthy diet went. Due to my research, we had already began transitioning to a whole food, organic, plant-based diet. When the oncologist said that he would prefer that he not take any supplements, we made the educated decision to not only continue with the supplements that we were on, but we increased all of the dosages. We really felt that we needed to flood his body with really good, high-quality nutrients in order to help him heal. We also began to check his temperature, his oxygen levels, blood sugar reading, pH levels twice, even sometimes 3 times daily. Cancer cannot grow in a properly oxygenated and alkaline body, and our diet was imperative in making sure that these levels remained optimal. Not only did we drastically change our diet, but we also changed our cleaning products. I mean, you realize the toxins that are in cleaning products? We changed our bath and beauty products, our toothpaste, our shampoo. All of that was changed. Many of them I now make myself at home. We removed as many toxins from our home as humanly possible. The microwave became off limits. Our food would be lightly steamed, baked, boiled. Some of it would even be eaten raw. The aluminum foil found its way to the trash can. All the plastic containers, the food containers, they were all replaced with glass. I even replaced my nonstick cookware with stainless steel. We were going to allow the doctors to do their part, but then we also knew that we had to do our part in living a clean, natural life, free of as many toxins as we could get rid of. So in August 2015, after my husband's 3rd round of chemotherapy, at the time he was scheduled for 4 to 6 rounds, and he had just completed 30 days of radiation therapy, we convinced his oncologist to proceed with the PET scan. We were all amazed at the results. Not only had the tumor shrank by more than 50%, it was showing no signs of life. The remaining rounds of chemotherapy were canceled, which we were thrilled about because we didn't want any more poisons in his body. And now it was time to make another life-changing decision. Surgery to remove the lower lobe of his lung. This resulted in an argument or two, and I'm going to save that for another blog post. It wasn't my decision to make. So in September of 2015, my husband did have the surgery to remove the lower lobe of his lung. Surgery went well. Recovery went well. The pathology report revealed what we had suspected from the August PET scan. The tumor was 99.99% necrotic, means it was dead. There was no life in it. My husband was now considered in remission. Woohoo! In the 2 years since my husband's surgery, we have continued with our cleaner, natural lifestyle. We have continued with that plant-based diet and eating as organic as possible. We have continued with an incredible line of supplements. There have been PET and CT scans, blood work, frequent follow-ups with the oncologist. All I am proud to report with amazing results. To this day, he remains cancer-free. In June of this year, my husband's follow-ups are now every 6 months, which is always a good sign when you can go from those every 3 months to every 6 months. Our ultimate goal is to make it to that all-important 3-year and 5-year mark cancer-free. Of course, we are looking towards the future and making the remainder of his life cancer-free with our current lifestyle. I see a beautiful, healthy future ahead. During his last visit with the oncologist, and this was just 2 months ago, I had to ask the question that I had never asked before. How long does he have? We never asked this question because we had one goal in mind. We were going to kick cancer ass and we were going to resume our lives, which meant spoiling our grandbabies and just really enjoying our lives and our children. During the visit, I said, may I ask you a question before we leave today? His oncologist, of course, replied, yes. Of course, I said, given my husband's age, the size of the tumor, and the health at the time of the diagnosis, how long did you give him? He replied, 1 year. That to me it sends chills down my spine. He followed up with saying, you've done an amazing job. Keep up the good work. My husband is the love of my life. I have been blessed with an ability to help him survive and the knowledge to look for the answers in order to help him. It is so overwhelming for me to think that he could have passed away a year ago. That the whole thought of that just really scares me. Our home remains as toxin free as we can possibly make it. Our diet is not a diet at all. It is loaded with the best quality, whole, organic, plant-based foods that we can afford. We fill in the gaps with incredible supplements. We get plenty of fresh air. We drink our water every day. We keep those toxins out of our home as much as we can. I mean, it's impossible to be completely toxin free because we live in a very toxic world. We do the very best that we can. Our lifestyle does not dictate our lives. Our lifestyle dictates our health so that we can enjoy every moment of our lives. When you've got these drastic diagnoses, you've got to make drastic changes in your life. And that means, changing what you eat and what you clean your homes with. And, you can eat really good, but you've got to fill in the gaps with supplements. And so I wanted to share that because I feel I'm very, very blessed, and I'm grateful for the knowledge that I have and that I was able to help him. I love him. I'm not going to let him go anytime soon. I hope you all have a great afternoon, and I will see you back here tomorrow.